Door to door. Ebenezer door to door. Babe found Roma, baby Pia war ewo Italy. Edia got on my gun and move baby to say Accra, Kumasi, Takrade, any Sunyane. Say oh Italy one so now person do Roma free ho eba ohima grow mitra UK. And now says oh saw Italy now person do Roma free ho eko eye Europe baby Pia wuka. Ena Trumika never need time. Ebenezer door to door. Say who Italy for ring lines 343-2709-483. And I say 327-3308-254. Say who you can swap for number 078-48-420-412. Ebenezer door to door. Yet that was it.
Every tongue confess that Jesus, and I'll put you in front of my melody. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll make room for two. You and I, Jesus. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll put you in front of my ministry, 'cause you are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll make room for two. You and I, Jesus. You and I, Jesus. You and I, Jesus. You and I, Jesus. How about this? You and I, Jesus.
Hello, beloved people. A very warm greetings from the Inside Studios to you. You are watching The Virtuous Woman, a program where we talk about issues of life concerning women. And I am your host, Susie Usikeni Georges. I welcome you all who are watching, who are yet to join. We are grateful always to have you, because we know that without you out there, we are not also here. And so we are grateful each and every day that you make time with us to share the word of God, to talk about issues that concern us as women. And so we are grateful to have you. Today we get to talk about pregnancy. It is a pregnancy diary, and as you may already know, it is the section of the program where we talk about our journey before, during, and after pregnancy. We know that however the number of books we read, the number of videos we watch, the number of information we try to get concerning pregnancy, some will say pregnancy will humble you. Yes. And why do people say that? Because women have to go through a lot when it comes to pregnancy. It may be morning sickness, it may be finding the right position to sleep, it may be eating too much or not eating at all. It may be lots of cravings that you have that accompanies you in this journey. And so because of this, when we hear of women who have gone through this and are willing to share, to make others learn from it, with the hope that it will bring hope and assurance to every intending couple and every intending mother or woman out there who is yet to go into pregnancy, will have information at their tips because they have heard people who have gone through share their story. And so, as I said, it is a pregnancy diary. And to help me do this is a lady. If I have to talk, let's say where I first met her. We met on pregnancy circumstances. We met for the very first time where we all attended the same community clinic. We met when we had our babies, and that was the first time I met her there. After that session, we never met again, but I had her number on my phone. It had been a very long time, so we had not seen each other. But just because of these programs that we have been having at the Inside Studios, somebody had to talk to me about her. I didn't know it was her actually. Somebody said, okay, I knew about this lady. I think the profile that was given to me about the person didn't make me know or have any clue that I know of the person whose number has been given to me. After some time, I decided to call the number. So I went to the person who gave me the number's chat. Then I dialed the number. But fortunately, a number appeared on my phone, which is how I have named her on my phone. I said, how come this name is coming out? Because I didn't go search of that name. I only copied the number and I dialed, not knowing it was somebody that I already knew. And then when I called her, she picked. She also called me by my name, which means she also had the number on her phone. So we continued from there. And so today she's here to talk to us. She's here to have a chat with us. And she's no other person, as you have seen on the flyer. She is Maame Sika Agyapomaa, also known as Priscilla. Some of you may know her as Priscilla, but on social media, she's Maame Sika Agyapomaa. Maame Sika, you are welcome to the Inside Studios.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. I'm humbled to be here.
We are also so happy, and we are appreciative of your acceptance to come to the Inside Studios to share your pregnancy with us. But for the sake of those who don't really know you much, we would like you to tell us a bit about yourself, so we have an idea of who you are.
Okay. My name given to me by my parents. My name on my documents is Priscilla Agyapomaa. But then the typical Ghanaian name given to me by my parents is Maame Sika Agyapomaa. So I prefer using the Maame Sika because that's the name that my parents call me, or that's the name that I really hear from from my family. So I just chose to use that name. So that's why almost all my friends around call me by that name.
Let's talk about school, growing up, and we want the profile is not you have not given me the info I'm expecting, so let me throw it back. Let me throw back the question again.
Okay. I'm very sorry.
Don't worry.
So I don't even want to say that. Let's start off first. I'm a Sika Agyapomaa, a cognitive behavioral therapist, a classical professor, mother of two. I went to the secondary school in Ghana. Then I had to learn a bit of. I went to tertiary school in Ghana. I completely, I did a bit. I went to school a bit, but I had to drop out because I had to help the family because my dad had a lot of things at that point in hand. The things I'm the first child, I had to support the family. And afterwards, I made a baby and a baby. And
I think you heard her right. She is a therapist. She said she has 2 children. She went to school in Ghana. And so if you don't have this info about her, you also know. And so this is our beautiful Maame Sika Agyapomaa. Maame Sika Agyapomaa, you, for let's say for some time now, you have been in Brescia, Italy, and most people, maybe let's say for the first time they might have seen you will be when in February your poster came out on the Singles and Marriage Summit. So let's say somebody might have first seen you on that, or maybe for those who have your contact might have also seen you host or gone through Zoom meetings with the youth and with women groups and all that. But for those who have seen you firstly on the Singles and Marriage Summit, I would like to ask, what was the inspiration behind that summit, and where do you intend to take it?
okay, so growing up, I had this particular thing about marriage, and I was in a haste to get married and also in a haste to make babies. But when I grew up, I got to know that it's a whole different thing altogether. It's not as it's not as rosy as we see out there. It takes time, you need experience, you need to be patient. Um, but the main reason why I took that bold step to study counseling and to also study behavioral therapy is from my past experiences. I have been through some crazy life that I sometimes I keep smiling, other times open up because it helps others. So when I had to study to make sure that especially the youth out there, we get ourselves educated much more on red flags in relationships, the things, the do's, the don'ts, the things that we think are good, but literally they are not really helping. But we have chosen to, let's say, accommodate them and then be with them later, and later pay the consequence for those actions. I just said to myself, listen, I have to put this in place that you call the elderly to come help educate us the youth. We need to ask questions. We have a lot of questions to ask. There are many things I never knew. I got myself into a relationship, I got myself into marriage. I never knew that I was doing the wrong thing. Sometimes we might think I did the right thing. There was so many mistakes I've done in the past, and I thought I was the right thing, but I've realized after studying, after listening to counseling, after listening to the elderly, I've realized that not everything that we implement in our marriages are healthy, and not everything that we also think are not healthy are bad things. So sometimes what we think might be bad might be good, and what we think might be good might be bad. So if we educate ourselves that way, and especially the youth, it's going to help us sustain a successful relationship with a good marriage. That's how come I chose to do this every year to help the youth educate ourselves, both on relationships and also in marriages.
It's always good to stand on the shoulders of those who have been through it. When you hear from people's experiences, it helps you to make the right choice. Wow. Somebody will say, Ma, but this lady I'm seeing is very young, but she's talking about what she has been through and will be wondering what has Maame Sika gone through. This will be another topic for another day. She's definitely coming back to tell us what her lessons have been on this journey. If you listen to her carefully, she spoke about she always desired to get married early. She always desired to have kids, and that is what has happened in her life. And she's talking about some lessons learned. We will not go into all the lessons learned, but we'll pick one or two, and surely she's going to be back to tell us more about the lessons. It is not purposely to know about what she has been through, just to know her story. But for you out there who is a young person about to enter into marriage or is desiring to have kids, to get married, to do what, or to see what is really in there, you would have much more knowledge about it before taking that step. Maame Sika, you spoke about you having kids, like having a child early. So let me first of all ask, how expectant were you into having a child?
Okay. As I said before, I'm a fan of kids. Like, I love kids. And growing up, I grew up with my parents, yeah, and I had stayed with a lot of people. So I realized, hey, this person is married, this person is married, and it's beautiful. Especially when they wear the wedding, like the wedding gowns, and they have the flower girls. Yeah. I want to be a flower girl, or I want to be part of the main gang because it's just beautiful. So I was eager to get married because I love the whole thing about marriage. And then one thing I never knew is something that we were doing, the bridesmaids, the bridal shower was just a ceremony. It's just a ceremony. That is a marriage. I was young and naive. I didn't have any idea what that was. And I was eager to have kids. And whenever I see someone pregnant and afterwards they'll go and do and I say, I'm sorry, that kind of thing, or they'll go for the vacation, my parents, she's very beautiful and she's in a white dress, baby is very beautiful. I also want to have kids so that I can also have that experience. But I think I did the wrong thing. But then I had a happy ending. I got pregnant early. I had a first child early. So, and I was inexperienced. Don't put that way. I never had any experience about sex. I never had anyone to talk to me about what sex is or whatever the consequence of my actions would be. But during my first pregnancy, since this was my first, I didn't really experience so many difficulties. I never really had any serious. But the only thing that happens to me a lot is whenever I'm pregnant, I don't see it. I still have my menses, and I would rather see it maybe months later. That is when I get to know I'm pregnant. So, as you asked, I'm not kids. And during my pregnancy, I will say I didn't really have an experience, so I really didn't go through any difficulties because I had a helping hand. My grandmother was there, my aunties were there, even my parents were not around. I had a helping hand, and I didn't really go through stress of the gymnast. I was being pampered. Yes. So for the first child, the only thing I experienced was I never knew I was pregnant until months. Just like the second child, I don't really get to see I'm pregnant until months. Like I'll have my menses, I'll have my normal flow, I would eat, and my grandmother was like, "Hey, you're bloating, or what's wrong with you? We are really gaining weight." With my friends, like, "You're gaining weight." My auntie were like, "You are gaining too much weight. What's wrong with you? Stop eating." So my grandmother was like, "Have you had your menses?" I said, "Yeah, I've had my menses." And she's not always running the path because we had a grocery shop. She's like, "Go and take one, go and take one." So I never knew. I never knew, but I was gone. I was stuck. Well, but during my childbirth with my son, it was just like this. That's the second one. It was really hectic.
Let me come this let me come in here. You have spoken about. Anyway, one thing we have learned in the pregnancy diary now is that when pregnant, it is not everybody. Of course, when for you to know you are pregnant, usually the first sign you will see is that you will not have your monthly flu. But with our lady in the studio, she's joining us right from the comfort of her home. But let's say joining us, she's talking about the fact that even in her pregnancy, she saw her monthly flu. And so if you are pregnant and you are experiencing that, I would say the first thing you have to know is to talk to your doctor about it and know if your case is also just as our lady sharing her beautiful story with us, or there is something to what is happening to you. So let's take over there. Maame Sika, you talked about the fact that you were not expectant even of the pregnancy, but it happened. Thank God, Grandma did a great job. She didn't let you have that. Yeah, everything was smooth for you. You had a helping hand. But I believe that surely there was a lesson that you learned out of that pregnancy because, let's say, it was not the right time. So if a young person is watching you right now, what would you say? What advice would you say, especially a young lady? Because let's say, if a young man impregnates someone's child, on him as a man, as my father would say, you don't see the pregnancy. But it is on the lady that you see the pregnancy. You are the one whose life is being shortened or let's say interrupted because of the pregnancy, not the man. The man will go about his normal everyday life, will go to school, will do everything. But you, the lady, if you are not fortunate to be in the places where you can still go to school with the pregnancy, you would have to stop school and then take care of your pregnancy and the baby coming before you would have to, if you don't get anybody to help you, you have to stay in the house and take care of your child. But if you get a helping hand, like Maame Sika had, you can still continue. So for a young lady watching you out there, what advice, what lesson have you learned and advice you could give to this young lady?
Okay. So first of all, I never had my child in my teens.
Okay.
I was not in my teens when I had my child. But then, if I would first of all advise the ladies out there, be rest assured that pregnancy is not going to be that smooth as you think. It comes with a lot of tasks. If you're not financially sound and you want to get pregnant, it's a problem because you need to feed a child, you need to clothe a child, you need to feed yourself, you need to clothe yourself. This is one of the main reasons why I tell people that if you're not ready, don't jump into conclusions and say, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to get married, I want to get kids. The second thing I want you to know is parents should also educate their kids on sex education. Because in Africa, most parents are also ignorant about those things. You don't really have time to talk to kids about sex and sex life and the consequences of the actions. Example, the mother will tell the child, if you get pregnant or you the way they behave, if you bring your pregnancy home, you take care of yourself. But since you are bringing up that conversation or argument about a child getting pregnant, why don't you take that energy to educate your child on pregnancy and sex education? Because I was not fortunate. Even though most of us who had their virgin being taken out in the 22, 21, we are still not fortunate. As old as we were, we are still not fortunate. You might not be in your teens, but we are still not fortunate because you never had any proper sex education from anyone. And it's good that they are implementing such things in our schools in Africa now, because then, even when talking about sex thing in schools, it became like an abomination. They had to just brush it off and talk about the surface, the things that are not really vital about sex in schools. And even if the child is not given us the sex education in schools, it is the responsibility of the parents. The very first thing I should do is when I get my children for the very first day, for the very first time, you sit me down, educate me on what to do and what not to do. But not to tell me that, oh, Sal, you're taking this, your first in your blood. So if you get pregnant, you're leaving this house. Don't you ever think of getting pregnant? Have you educated us enough? Have you given us that education enough that we need to stand for ourselves and look, okay, this is what I've got to do, not to bring shame and disgrace to my family, but then I stand for myself. If I was a teenager and I got myself pregnant and my parents come in and blame me and start fighting me, I would also ask them this question: did you educate me enough? Were you there enough to talk to me about some things? It's not just about taking me to school, buying me clothes and paying off fees. It takes a whole lot of things to become a mother or a parent. Because if I have a girl child today and he's 5 years, I should be thinking of the next 7 years or when she's 13 years, I should be thinking of how to educate her on some things that would alert her early so she wouldn't repeat the same mistake I did. Most parents did the same thing and it became like a black line. Their kids also did the same thing. But if they had educated them on those issues, first of all, you wouldn't see a lot of the youth out there being pregnant. You can't stop a child from being out to have sex, that you can't. But there are some things that you can implement in them. Because when a child is at the age of 13, 14, 15, 16, and they feel they have grown and they are of age, sometimes they do things their own way. But the most important and vital thing is, as a parent, even if I'm 18, 17, 16, and I feel I'm grown because I've got boobs, I've got the physiques, it is up to you to put something in my mind to educate me. So at least the whole money you guys are investing in me wouldn't be a waste. So fortunately, yes, I didn't have my child in my teens, but I was not given that proper combo or proper, let's say, discussion about what sex is and the consequences of it. Because sometimes you go in and take pills and like, oh, call pharmacy. They'll tell you that you go to the pharmacist, we have to educate ourselves. We have to train ourselves to get to a particular level or stage to save ourselves from not being pregnant. Most of these youth are educating themselves on sex. Most of these youth are educating themselves on sex without anybody helping them. So if a child is trying to help herself by taking contraceptives and doesn't even know the consequence of taking contraceptives for a very long time, think of the damage. But if you are a mother and you think you are really someone who wants to make your child have a good life, you sit them down, you talk about sex. Even if they have to use pills, you tell them the consequence of it and how they should use it. As ignorant as you might be or have no idea about it, you can hold your child's hand, take them to the hospital for proper explanation and then for proper treatment. Thank you.
Wow. Parents, this parenting thing, a charge to keep we have, and it is not an easy one at all. Yes. Teaching our children about sex education. The sad part of it is, as Maame Sika was talking, I was listening to her carefully, is that sometimes when you don't do it as a parent, they go for the wrong information out there. Exactly. And some may not be an information that will help them, but will lead them to the wrong path. How would you feel as a mother when you find in the closet of your child or maybe in their bag a contraceptive? When you are there thinking that they don't know anything about sex.
Yeah.
And so, I think I would have to take this topic. Is it really, we know that as Christians, we have spoken about this topic somehow on this platform about sex education, and much have been said. But sometimes you get to think whether it is okay for you to tell them, should in case it has to happen, is condom or a contraceptive an issue? Because we would ask, is it better that they will end up being pregnant, or they will have the right information so that they don't go to that path? Yes, as Christians, we have said it severally on this platform that abstaining is the best. We have said it several times that as Christians, we know that is what we need to do. If you are not of that age, if you are not married, sex is out. Giving our children sex education is not something that will surely drop immediately after they are of age or when that conversation comes up. But it will be that we already have a relationship with them that will make it easier for us to communicate to them easily. Parents, that is so much of a work for us to do, and we need to do our best. We need to do everything that we can. We ask for God's help. We ask for God's strength, discernment, for us to know the right times, the right thing to tell them, for them to understand what we are saying, and the reason behind why we are telling them not to. So it is not, as Maame Sika said, you first saw the first flow of your daughter and you said, be careful, otherwise you'll be pregnant. But there needs to be a conversation, a deep conversation between a parent and especially a daughter. Today, it is not only a daughter, but you can also educate your son that there is a time, there is the right time. And the right time is when families have gathered, God's presence, you are put together as husband and wife. That is when that is permissible. Maame Sika has told us. I believe that if you're a young person out there, this is an advice to you. A little tip for you there, a little nugget for you there to take into consideration. Enjoy the time now as a youth. Enjoy being single now. Enjoy it now, because when you are married, it is not you again, it is you and your partner. Enjoy being single, travel, study, do whatever you want to do. Godly, anyway, if I say whatever, I still mean godly, that you need to do. Acquire all the knowledge that you need to acquire, and it will help you in your decision into marriage and into anything around sex. Wow. Maame Sika, let's go into your pregnancy journey. Now you are pregnant. You have already talked about the fact that it was a smooth one, but one of the challenging one was labor. So let's talk about labor, and then meeting your first angel for the very first time. What was that experience? How was that experience for you?
I thank God I said before, I had my people around me. So when I went into the labor room, I did not speak in English. It's crazy. When we went there, I heard people were screaming our dialect, REV.ALEX, and people even insulting their husbands. Like some of them, their husbands were there to be insulted them. You know, coach here, you know, I won't do anything, and some of them would be just, the thing. So when I was there, I was speaking English, and I was just talking in English. So there was a nurse there. The nurse was like, "I'm not far."
Then I presume this is in Ghana, right? This was in Ghana.
Yes, please. And the nurse was like, "Hey, madam, what about trouble? You are here speaking in English." And it's amazing. I was just speaking English. Oh my God, I was speaking English. I was just crazy. And it was my first experience. I never knew it was that painful. Like, I have seen people give birth on TV. I have seen people come out of the hospital with their kids, and I was like, oh, my God. And I'm like, I think it's very smooth. I was there for like 10 hours, and it was not coming.
Wow.
And then the doctors were saying that you dried up, like there was no water there. So we need to give you extra minutes. If the child doesn't come, we need to fast. I was just nervous. I didn't know what cotton was. I didn't have any idea what it
what
was.
they are talking about.
Yeah, so I started preparing. The next was preparing some things here, and they were like, if you don't give birth at this time, you're more period. You're giving your birth time. If you are in this period and the child is not yet in, that means you need to fast you. So I was just praying. So immediately after some few minutes, I was just praying. I was praying. My grandmother was like, if you have, I've heard the you need to pray. Start praying. I was like, grandmother, I'm tired. Then I just gave up. I was tired. I was like, I don't come to me. And I was like, you know, this like implication of what you're saying. If they catch you today, if you really have to like give us they begin to catch you every time you are young and do it. And then someone was like, you know me, Kuma, I don't know what's that doing things many things. There were things many things at the time. I was going through a whole bullshit me before it to me, I was sweating. So I was like, anything that would give me for me to deliver, I should do it. So one of the next was like, then let's give her a false labor. She needs to sign. She doesn't want to go out under the CS, and she needs to sign that if anything happens, she asked for it. So I told my grandmother, she said, God, I don't know what you're going to cut under me. And I thought, what about me? I said, sorry, I never knew that cutting was in the stomach. But I was going to cut my thing. We're going to cut down. I just I won't let them go and cut my thing. They cut you know, you're going to get cut like the wrong out here. I'm going to take the child. And I was like, fine, I'll keep her by myself. So they brought the okra and they allowed me to swallow, I think, 4 or 5 seeds with water. And I swallowed it. And then my grandmother was like, keep shaking yourself, keep shaking yourself. Like,
I've never heard that before. Okra.
The dried one. So I swallowed it and my mother was like, let's keep praying. I'm giving you an hour. An hour is okay for you to give birth. So I was there. My mother was like, run down the stairs and climb up the stairs. You need to run down the stairs and climb up the stairs until you give birth. Because you have said you don't need any cuts. I was like, okay. So they took me down, up, and all of a sudden I felt something was just pushing down. So I called the name that something is coming, and they came, they took me there. And the funny part was, I just told them I have to call Jesus name for 3 times because I was tired. So I just said, Jesus the first one, Jesus the second one, I said, Jesus the third one, my child came. And when they gave the child to me, and it had blood on, like, around, I was scared to take, like, I was so scared to carry it. Because I thought when the child is coming, it's already clean, everything is going to be...
That is what we see in the movies. It's already clean and then they give the baby to you.
Yeah. So I thought the child would be clean and all that because I've seen people go to the labor ward, like they said, but they came home with no child with blood. So I was going to be clean because I thought, to me, I thought the child was sleeping in my belly in a pool of water since I had a water breakage. So when they came in, had blood and all that, and then I had eaten so much clay. The child was covered with so much clay. I got scared. Like, when they gave me the child, the nurse was like, so much of ANTWI-ADJEI, they won't try And so the nurse was like, oh, come on, we're not speaking English here. Why can't you speak English now? Take the child. I was happy when I heard the sound of the child, like the first sound, the voice as he began to cry. And then the umbilical cord and everything came out smoothly, and they cut it. And when they told me to breastfeed the child, that twin was just awesome because I've always wanted to breastfeed a child, but I never knew it was that painful because for the first time giving a child, the breast was already heavy, and it was very painful. So when the child was breastfeeding, I was like, nurse, if I show. Once you want to know, the nurse was like, don't do like that. Until the child 6 months, they're going to breastfeed the child. And I gave up. I just, from that time, I think I was full. because it was very it was very painful. After everything, they then wrapped the child and they gave me the child and they're like, good, we are good to go. But you have to stay here for 3 days, making sure that you're okay. You need to conduct some tests on you and the kid as well to see if the child is okay to go home with you. And that was how I gave birth to my first son. It was an amazing day. I loved everything about it. Apart from that time that they gave me the okro and they asked me to go up and down. And the child, after 10 hours, like the child was not coming. I just gave up. I just my grandmother. I let them do whatever they want to do. I was like, no, if they can't do today, they'll come tomorrow and catch you till you are done giving birth. So that's how I gave it my first love.
Wow, wow. Let me quickly drop this disclaimer. It is not, today we know that, of course, it is not always that for the first time when they cut, for all the subsequent ones you'll be cut. Today, if you get yourself healed enough for maybe 2, 3, or 4 years after, you could easily give birth naturally. Of course, by the advice of the doctors, they may have to examine you and say if you are fit to do so. It can. So it is not always that when you are cut for the very first time, for all your subsequent pregnancies you need to be cut. We have seen mothers who after 3 years or sometimes even 2 years, they could just deliver on their own. So it is possible. Of course, we will not put prayer aside because we know with the help of God, just as the Bible made us to understand, we are going to deliver as the Hebrew women. And so, checking on our health, if we are fit to do so, if the gap is enough for you to deliver on your own, that is also possible. Wow, Maame Sika, it has not been easy, but thank God you finally had your baby in your hands. Was it a boy or a girl? Was it a boy or a girl?
A boy. Mama.
So you had your bouncing baby boy in your arms. Was he chubby like the mother? How was he?
Oh, he was 4.3 then.
Wow.
His close of 4.3, just like the sister. But then growing up, he chose to be tiny.
Wow.
He chose so fast. He don't want to be a boy like the mom. And then that is fine. But he always wants to be like you.
Wow, that is all good. Because of the circumstances of how the pregnancy came about, I'm bound to ask you this question. Did you ever have to go into postpartum depression after your baby?
I did. After, first of all, I was a student. So when that happened, I had to drop out. I was in tertiary, so I had to drop out. So seeing my colleagues graduate, because I just had a year to graduate. So seeing my colleagues graduate and all that, I really got depressed. It was just a few months after I delivered. It was just a few months of graduation. So I was kind of down, even though I made a choice that I would continue after birth. I got depressed, seeing my friends taking the lead after me. And then I also got depressed after I got to know that what I thought was the right thing was wrong, because I didn't have the life I used to live before. There was so many things I used to do before that I was not really able to do after childbirth, because you can't be going to so many places with the child hang around. There were so many things that I was doing before, but after childbirth, I couldn't do anything because, oh, God, my daughter like, oh, by the way. Yes, it's true. I was not really having that fun anymore. That girlish lifestyle that I wanted to do, I didn't have it. And I had the depression because I was not able to sleep. I was not able to eat well. And one thing about me is, after my first child, I began to throw up a lot.
So what you didn't have during the pregnancy?
During my pregnancy,
You
I had
had it.
after breath.
Mm.
I began anything that I didn't say.
Wow.
So usually my mother was like, "What's happening?" I'm like, "No." Because it's continued for 3 months. Like for 2 months, we were like, "No, this is not. It's not going to happen." And my mother was like, "Yeah, I know what the herbalist." I was like, "Take me to the hospital." Just like you said, there are so many things that our elderly people are so naive and they don't really have any idea about because of their way of upbringing. Their ideology about things differ way, like they are too far from us. So, but thanks to God, like my auntie was an elite and she is still is an elite who had taken that opportunity to take me to see the doctor and they told me it's nothing. It is some people experience this after birth. Others go because when I was pregnant with my son, I never told the day that I threw up. I never. Apart from spitting, I never threw up. I never had anything of method, never. But then after birth, after I think the first, second week, so I became younger. I don't know how to put it. I was looking healthy. You see, when a woman gives birth, like, firstly, when she comes home, she looks beautiful. Everything about her is, oh, I was looking beautiful. I was looking weird because of the vomit. But after they are taking me through the process, giving medication and all that, I came back my strength and I was good to go.
Wow. You see, just as we spoke about earlier on, she was in tertiary. Pregnancy happened. She had to stop school. That is why she's here to educate us also. Today, let's say, depending on the situation that you find yourself, you can box the two. But when you find yourself in a situation where you would have to stay home and take care of your baby, you have interrupted your journey in life. And this might affect a little bit of your journey or where you are aspiring to be. That is why, if it happens, okay, but if there is the chance for you to make the right choice at that very time, you need to, so that such things will not happen. She also spoke about the fact that the arrival of the child changed everything in her life. That sometimes she might want to go out as a single lady, go about, do anything that she wants to do. But grandmother has helped you enough. Mommy is helping you enough. She cannot also take care of your baby whilst you go about your single life. And that is what happened to our lady Maame Sika. And so it is another lesson for us to also learn that the arrival of a child changes everything. When you have to go out, you are not thinking of only yourself, but think of a baby with you. Sometimes you even have to cut down some occasions because you have a baby with you. It happens to couples. And so how much more when you are single and you have to go through all that stress? Let's make the right choice every time. She has spoken much about the changes that came after the arrival of the child. But Mariska, let's compare your second pregnancy. At this point, you were married, so you are not alone. How different was that pregnancy for you?
This second child, a case is totally different, but it was a worst experience. I prefer the first pregnancy than the second pregnancy, but both cases are special in their own way. My first child, I never knew I was pregnant, as I said, just like the second one. And then I was in a state of depression. I was having a mental disorder at that point in time. So adding mental disorder, depression, anxiety, and pregnancy was very, very tough.
If I may ask, the second one you were alone. Now you were married. So the mental disorder, it was as a result of what?
I was married but facing challenges in my home.
Mm.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. I was married, but I was facing a lot of challenges in my home. I was not as happy as I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I say this? There are so many pregnant women who are living with their husbands and are going through a lot.
Mm.
And they can get any kind of disorder through pregnancy. I went through it, and that's the main reason why I pursued cognitive behavioral therapy, that course, to help people who have a behavioral disorder. I see it in everything. There was nothing that was pleasing. The pregnancy itself was not pleasing to me. Like I was grateful I had a child with me, but everything that happened to me had to affect the child, because when you're pregnant, something happens. Whatever pain that you go through, it affects the child. Whatever thing that you would endure during pregnancy affects this child. So even though I was saying I was married, I was not in that particular state. If I was not pregnant, it would have been a different whole thing. I could have endured some things and also like got out of bed without even thinking about it, or I could have fought those things without even thinking about the results of it. But this time, being pregnant and going through depression, anxiety, like behavioral, like instability mentally was affecting me. I wasn't eating healthy. I had to take. Sorry,
Don't worry.
they keep calling from Ghana. I just don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. You can go on.
The whole thing, that's the very wrong thing, that's my second child. I spent, I think I had I had supposed to go 3 times because the child wanted to come for the, I think my 6 month, my 7.5 month. I passed 9. I put the 10th month. The doctors were like, I'm stubborn. I don't want to be cut. I want to give birth by myself. So they had to take me through a therapy. They were like, you know that you need to get a contraction in your belly. Yes, the contractions were severe. They were double times 10 with what I experienced, even though they told me that it was going to be double, it will double up. The doctors were telling me it wasn't normal because the pain was bad. So they had to go through this therapy every month to make sure that they control everything in my system, not of the child. The child was not kicking well because I was always crying. The child was not healthy in the belly. So that is like the earlier the better. They think they should cut me up, take the child out, so that I'll be free from this stress. But since I told myself I don't want to be cut, I just want this child to be born by myself. They told me fine, I have to sign again, just like they did in Ghana. So I had to sign that if anything happens to me, they have no hands in the people. They told me that I need to be cut. And they said no, I need to give birth like naturally. So they said okay, fine. Since you want to give birth naturally, they're going to give you a therapist to help you go through it. So they give me a therapist. I had to go through. I think Paganini.
Yeah, I was about to say that was the time that was the same period that I met you.
Yes, when we met, I had a therapist there that I had to go there every week. Apart from our sessions that we had, I had to go there every week, twice in a week. So she would talk to me, control me. And then she was a cognitive behavioral therapist, just like I am now. Because during this period, it is a communication skill to help you release stress. And this communication skill will help them to know why you are going through these things during the pregnancy. Because they will check the child was okay today. The fluid is going to come, the child is in a different position, in their think of food and all. So they wanted to know what was really happening. So when you are talking with them, as I communicate with them, one, cognitive means dig into the mind of the person. So they dig into your mind to get to know the root of the problem. So it was through that woman, the therapist, that told me, okay, we've gotten to know this. So we want you to move from that place and stay in a different atmosphere. So you moving from a particular place, for me, so me moving from that place to be with my mom changed everything. That was when I began to feel a bit relief from stress. And that was when I got to know, okay, things are okay, like things were improving, things were also getting much better. And thanks to God, they wanted to come in, but I asked for a forced labor. I spent 48 hours. I went there. They tried their best, but the fact they didn't, nothing came. They gave me water, and Italians or these doctors as a whole, they know their period of time. Like, they have a specific period of time that they're giving you. If you pass that time, then they have to take their own action. That was you interfering. So they gave me some hours. I had to go through post labor for the second child, and God being good and delivered safely.
Wow. Wow. So after this second baby, how was your state as to the depression? Did it again happen after you had your second baby?
It was worse.
Wow.
It was worse. It was worse because I began talking to myself. When I tell people like postpartum is real, depression is real, who don't really get it. I began talking to myself. All the things that I had harbored in my heart during pregnancy were now reflecting, and that was when the anger issues and everything was just piling up. I didn't have interest in the baby. I didn't have interest in anything to do with the child. That was when I realized I was getting out of hand. So my mom would be like, "Oh, brother, and the child will cry and cry and cry, and I would just ignore. So
I believe the first
when I
time
went,
I always at the center, I always met you with your mom.
yes,
But you know, when people are going through issues, it's sometimes funny because you don't see it on them. I wouldn't have ever said the young lady I met had a problem. She was with the mom. She looked okay. We met there a couple of times. We had other sessions. You know, after birth, they would have to take you through. That is, if you are fine that the center should help you, you have to go through some pelvic exercises to help you get your body back and all that. And so we met at the session. Sometimes they have to take care. A session of lots of mothers. So you hear other stories, how their birth was, and they were sessions that were helping us. So you could never say that this lady I met had a
was having a problem.
Wow. As I said, the reasons why you were going through all that depression, we would have time to talk about it. Because who would say that a young lady who just got married, like first baby after, let's say, having a newly born baby, your dream marriage has happened, you have your partner with you, and then depression, who would ever say? She will be on this show to also tell us about it, with the hope that you out there would also learn. She will share her lessons. She will share what she had to go through and what has made her to become what she is today. She will surely be here to tell us more about it. But Maame Sika, you always mention help. You had help, so it was not difficult. So I would like you to talk about, or maybe take this time to acknowledge the very people in your life who had helped you in this your journey.
Okay, during my journey of being a mother, the first person I want to give thanks to is my Auntie Mary. She was there for me, and I did. You know what I'm talking about, the funny thing. When I went and they told me I was pregnant, I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. How can I be pregnant? I'm having my menses, it's never true. I'm not pregnant. Don't have no problem. Just can. And when they got this kind, I was pregnant. Like, Vanessa was like, I told you I'm pregnant. She was there. She was supportive. She was like, listen, it is not, you're not the first one to get pregnant. You won't be the last one to get pregnant. What matters is you being strong. You being strong enough to accumulate everything that comes around or everything that goes with pregnancy. So that's wherever you are, I say thank you. And Auntie for doing all that for me. Then my grandmother, Auntie Theodora, thank you. And then for my second child, a big up to my mother, Mama Stella. Thank you so much. She has been a backbone. Like honestly, if not for my mom, I don't know where I would have been. I remember when I was about to commit suicide, it was her. She stopped me. I thank God.
Suicide.
Yeah, when I was pregnant. But I thank God. I thank God my mom was there. She just came into my room. Hey, are you crazy? You think life is all about our career? You think life is all about having a man? Don't let those things get to you. And then she was there. My father was there. He prayed intensively with me. There are people that I appreciate so much. Even whilst I was going to school, trying to educate myself and all that, I gave up in the middle of the journey because I thought I couldn't do it. But they were there, they supported, I achieved everything I achieved in my career. And especially there was some specific people I want to thank to. When I gave birth, there was this man that came and also he helped me a lot. ANTWI-ADJEI, wherever you are, God bless you. He made a big impact in my life where I had to stand. He made me, he was like, Sika, I know you can do this, I know you can do it. Even though people will point fingers at you, people will say a lot of things about you, just be you and do what you want to do, and I'm here to support you towards that. God bless you so much. These are the people that I would say thanks to because they motivated me to be who I am today. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Everybody who has been part of Mami Sika's journey, that is her acknowledgement to you. She is so grateful to have each and everyone who have accompanied her throughout these difficult times and to have come out successfully to become the woman that she is today. Let me quickly go to Facebook and see the comments that we have there. We have much people watching. We have our lady Clara King. Thank you so much for making time with us. We have our beautiful Tina T also watching. She says, my beautiful sister. Thank you so much. We have, of course, Ma Tando watching. Thank you so much. Mrs. Kelly says, you are welcome, Miss Sika. It says again, the education, the more you know, the more you can do. It's a truly, really interesting. Every young lady can't wait to get married. Yes, in fact, when we were young, I know somebody is there, she knows herself. Jesus, don't come now. Christ, don't come now. I want to get married and have children, so wait. We all prayed that kind of prayer some way in our lives. Wow. Mrs. Kenny again says, this thing called pregnancy is such an enigma. Through pregnancy, yet menstruating. Yes, that was. You hear some few people talk about having spots around the time of pregnancy, but to really have your flow, this is the very first time I'm hearing, and we are all learning. Should in case you have to go through that, as I said, you talk to your doctor. The first consult is to talk to your doctor about it. That is why you don't have to take your antenatals for granted at all. The very first time you miss, if you know you are expecting, or if you know you have done the thing and you missed it, then you know that you have to consult your doctor. We have our lady Ruth watching, Mrs. Enim, thank you so much. Our lady Jelsomina Mafutins also for joining. Mrs. Enim says, of course, you have you ever seen a chick following the cock? It said definitely sex education, very, very important. Sex education must be a priority, and it is very, very important. Our mommy evangelist, May Edibo, Thank you so much. She says amen and amen. Mrs. Kenny says parenting is a kind of bone not so easy to chew. It's not easy at all, at all, at all. Mrs. Kenny says such an information is so contradictory to our faith. The thing is, we might see it as we believe that it is contradictory to advise the young lady to be on contraceptives when they are not married, or to use them when they are not married. But we have to pray and be discerning enough to identify them, because when we are not talking to them about it, the school, the community is doing it. In fact, they are being given the items at the schools. They are being given it to them at the centers that they should use them. Whilst at home, we also know and believe that that is not the right way. So that is why parenting, we need to be up on our feet. So in Ghana, one of the pitch, everyone is a coach. I didn't know that in labor room, everyone should study midwifery. Hey, we have had one okra seed whilst baby is on the way. After 10 hours of labor, and you are asked to drink okra seed and be jumping so that the baby will come. Wow. Thank God. It's not to say that those in Ghana are not fortunate, but it is just the grace that is keeping them. Thank God for where we find ourselves, that even when you know your baby is okay, even when you know the baby is kicking, because you have not, like, you just want to hear something, so you say he's not kicking or she's not kicking, then you go to the hospital, then they will check, just because you are having a little doubt. So we are grateful for where we find ourselves. But if you know that you have to go to the hospital and you have to pay for them to scan or to check if the baby is okay, you will not go. You will just pray. Maratando says, okay, we have our lady Jelsobina laughing. Maratando says, okro. We said the okro stuff. That is so, that's Ghana for you. Our lady Mensa, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. She's joining us from Ghana. And we have I Kofi. She says, Maame, that is to our lady, Maame Sika. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Akutu, for joining us. Thank you so much. We don't take all of you, your presence here for granted at all. Mrs. Kenny says, suicide, God have mercy. If you want to hear about why Maame Sika wanted to end her life, that precious life that God has given her, she will be on the show to tell us more about it, so that we will also learn from her story. It has not been easy, but God has been her strength. God has been her strength. Mrs. Kenny says, of course, have you ever seen, okay, I have taken that already. Let me go to YouTube and see if there is any comments out there. Okay. So we'll go on. Maame Sika, thank you again. Thank you for coming. As I said, we will have you here to tell us all about what you are going through. It's not easy. And yeah, that is what she's into. She's just sharing her story so that it will inspire somebody, so that somebody would have to take the right decision. Childbirth, marriage, and all that, depression, everything that she has been through, she will share with us. Let's talk about some of the rewarding aspects of being a mother of two. Some of the things that you see today and say, thank God, all the same, that they happened to me.
One of the most amazing parts of being a mother is whenever you go through challenges, you got these kids around to cheer you up. I love it whenever I see my kids. I remember I was crying, and my daughter was like, "Mommy, why are you crying?" I'm like, "Oh, it's here." And she's like, "I'm going to bring you couple. You cry to show this cup." Like I do to every I did like I do to every time. She basically like bring a bake and like cry to show it or else you eat today. So she went and bought the cup like today don't cry to show this cup, you're not gonna eat it. And that is it. You have these beautiful kids around you, and most especially going through a lot of challenges, like financial crisis, just name it. These kids' presence just makes you happy. And, and I've learned not to give up because of my children. I believe that these kids came in for a reason. And one thing I've also learned is if not for these kids, there were so many things I would have done, like I would have done against myself and against all odds. And I love when my kids go to school and they come home and be like, I went to school, I learned this, I learned that, and they said I'm brava, I'm good. And you get to know that hey, they also doing something well. And bringing their competitive home, their book and ask you to give them a helping hand. It's just amazing. I love it. And to see them grow, whenever you see them, we like look at our career, you always go to the grocery shop, like let's say the supermarket, they'll ask for different kind of things. You go to these shops to buy clothes for them, they'll ask you for different kind of things. And you see the changes in them from a 0 baby to a 9-month-old baby to a 2-year-old baby. I've got a clothes pack. I don't have myself. So I bought all this for my money. It's giving the vibe that this thing grew in me and now they are going to become somebody like very, very meaningful society. And that alone is something amazing. I just love it. I just love to see them grow. Yeah, I'm on kind of like I just like I'm putting them in place and then I'm just putting stickers on them. I bought this stuff and something and now, it just gives me memory of how grown they have become. It's amazing.
Wow. Wow. That is the joy of every mother, to have seen that God saw you and God considered you wealthy enough to give you such a gift. And so as a child grows in you, wow, you sometimes wonder, how is this baby going to be when he or she comes out?
Sure.
But when you have that baby in your hands and you see what God can do through you, it's really a heartwarming thing to see. And that is what God can do. We are so much grateful that God saw us worthy. And so we also take this opportunity to also pray for the same for every couple or every intending woman out there who is seeking for the fruit of the womb. That this very gifts that God has given to us, He should do the same for everyone who is longing for. And we know that by the grace of God, it is going to happen, just as you have dreamt all this while for it. Wow. I also know that you have spoken about some few challenges, but as so handedly taking care of 2 kids, how is it going? What are some of the challenges that you are facing as
initially I never thought I could raise these kids alone. As when I gave birth to my daughter, after a year I lost my job, so things were a bit poor. God brought someone home, even though the person was helping me or giving me money. It's not going to be like you doing everything 100%. But someone gives you 10% out of 90. It is okay, but it's not up to like expectations. I thinking of my son who is like 1 boy, and thinking of Ivandi who was then like a year and some months old, and being a mother with no job at that point in time was very bad. But one thing kept me going: the vibe of these kids around me. It pushed me to do better for myself. So that break that I had during the period of staying at home, I had to study. and I studied, and it has helped me, my mentality about single parenting, that I cannot do this by myself. I cannot do this without a man helping me. Everything changed. What motivated me is to work harder to make sure that I achieve what I need to achieve with or without anybody helping me. And there is nothing that you cannot achieve if you are positive. I have said that to all my friends that when Opa, you are 60 years, be at the age of 60 and then put a mission ahead of you. Well, so far as you are determined, you achieve it. I don't think about being a single mother and the consequences. Yes, it's natural to go through stuff where sometimes when it's financially starved and all that, sometimes you might be ill, you may need a helping hand and all that. But just motivate yourself that all these things that are happening will pass and be positive. I've been positive since the one that I decided to be a single mother. I've been positive, and I am grateful to my God that my positivity has never failed me. I'm always achieving and making sure my kids are okay. Even if it's the last thing I have to put on the table, sometimes I'll go out there without taking money, thinking of what to do next. My son will, mommy, I need this, I need that. You will be like, how do I do it? But my energy is positive. It just comes through for me without me even struggling about it. So yes, being a single mother is hectic. You sometimes think of giving up, but with positive attitude and with positive intentions, so far I'm doing amazing by God's grace.
Wow, she's doing amazing by God's grace. The God factor. The God
factor.
Don't put away God as a single mother. It is difficult. This is also to encourage you out there. If you are single-handedly taking care of your child, be it a man or a woman out there, it's an encouragement to you that being positive about whatever situation that you find yourself in and asking God to help you, you will surely be able to do it. God is going to give you the strength to do it. Wow, we are so much grateful. Let me quickly take the last comment as Maame Sika prepares to give us her last words, her final words. Wow. We have our Lady Judith saying, thanks, God bless you for sharing your story. More grace. She also said, we have Mrs. Kenny says, being positive in life is the first line of winners. Yeah. Our Lady Josemina is also giving us emojis there. Mrs. Kenny says the God factor. Yeah, the God factor. Wow, all too soon, our time is up. We just want to say a very big thank you to you out there that you stick and stay with us up to this time. We don't take your time here for granted. Maame Sika, can we have your final words to us?
My final words to every mother out there is, no matter what you're going through, just look up just because of your kids. Lift your head up high, don't give up. To all the ladies out there, know your worth. Some of us, we have limited ourselves to a particular point where we don't even know who we are, what we carry, and what we can do. As a woman, you carry a lot. Just be the representative one woman, be positive, a virtuous woman. Pray, meditate, be positive minded. Don't let the negativity of society push you down. They will rant, they will point fingers, they will talk. No home is perfect, no marriage is beautiful. But if you are married, be true to yourself, be true to your husband, be true to who you are. Do the needful, and then leave the rest to God. God bless us all.
God bless us all. Maame Sika said, do the needful. She said that be positive. You might be in a situation that is overwhelming you, but be positive. You can do it. Don't give up. She said, as the woman out there, as a young lady out there, know your worth. know your worth. It is very, very important. Great words she has shared with us. And so I say, well, Miss Sika, thank you so much for making time. Thank you so much for coming. I'm very, very grateful. Yeah.
I'm grateful too.
Know that you are surely coming back very, very soon. You are coming back very, very soon. And on that session, you are going to tell us all about what you have gone through. You want to learn the lessons. You want to learn. You want to unlearn. And you want to relearn to better our lives. Through the experiences of those who have been there. That is what we do on the Virtuous Woman and on the Pregnancy Diary. That those who have gone ahead of us, we want to look into their lives and then learn to better our lives. Thank you so much you out there for making time with us again. As I always say that we don't take your presence here for granted. This has been the Inside Studios. This has been the Virtuous Woman, where we always say that take one day at a time, and as you do so, be the best you can be. Bye for now, and God richly bless you.